Very, very cool.
So okay, so long story short, August 7th, 2008 was the first time I positively did something positive for my health intentionally. But we didn't actually start drinking spring water, actually pouring out spring water until February of 2009. February 2009 was the first time that, okay, we found a local spring. And it was actually an artesian well in Ancaster, and we started drinking it. And since that day, you know, we haven't really consumed anything but exclusively water that we've gathered from the earth, whether it be artesian well water or natural spring water or whatever, and we're constantly looking for it. This is amazing. The spring water right now is like less than an hour, 40 minutes from my house. I can't believe 4 years of actively looking, that, you know, this has been under our nose the whole time. You know, the whole time. I don't understand.
I like how you told me to ask around, because at that, at the push lunch one, right at the dirt road that I went down, which was, I mean, I could have walked down to the spring by there. There was an older gentleman who was pulling in a truck, and I told him to roll down his window, because I figured this guy's got to know. You know, he's an old timer.
He's an old guy.
He's coming up this dirt road. He's got to know. So I asked him, "Do you know there's a spring well around?" "No, don't know." And he was right beside it, and probably lived in the area.
That's amazing. That's amazing. But the Puss Spring has some crazy history. A lot of my uncles and stuff that came from Galiano, like on my mom's side, my dad's side, they won't drink the Ancaster artesian well water because they know inherently that that just doesn't meet their standards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they would come to Puss Lynch and drink this water. They wouldn't. I couldn't pay them to go drink the Ancaster water. I'm not dissing it. I'm just saying that, you know, when you grow up on good water.
Once you've had the best,
it's hard to like start drinking artesian well water when you're drinking mountain spring water in the high mountains of Italy. Like it's hard to go back, right? And so when I talk to some of my uncles, they just laugh at the Ancaster water. They make fun of it, but they'll come to Puss Lunch and they'll drink as much as they can. Or they're, you know, my one uncle actually has a hunting camp in Magnetawan, which is west of Burke's Falls. That's where the Horner Road Spring is, and he drinks that by, you know, gallons and gallons and brings it back for me. So, you know, there's a lot to learn about this stuff, but basically what it comes down to is basically you got to understand the importance of water. Water could be extremely beneficial to you if you get the right kind and use it properly, or it could be extremely detrimental to you if you use the wrong types. Don't kid yourself. Tap water is the worst thing ever, period. Reverse osmosis is actually worse, probably in some areas, because as bad as tap water is, it's not an aggressive detergent like reverse osmosis is, and distilled water. Reverse osmosis and distilled water are basically in one of the same thing. Distilled water is basically a distillation process. Reverse osmosis is a mechanical version of distilling water, because it's being pushed through these incredibly thin membrane filters and basically under a lot of pressure, and essentially it comes out, the net effect is very similar to distilled water. So that's basically my warning. Tap water is pretty amazingly bad for you. I think actually reverse osmosis has some aspects that are actually worse than us, you know, than tap water. So basically, if you use the plant analogy, you know, if you're using, you know, tap water in plant and reverse osmosis on a plant and distilled water, the reverse osmosis plant will die first. The tap water is pretty dead, but it'll keep your plant alive faster than longer than reverse osmosis water. Distilled water will keep it alive longer than tap water, but it too is still a dead water, and that's all there is to it. I mean, if you look around me, like there's some major trees happening here. You see the cedars. Anytime you go to a spring and stuff like this forest is so dense. This is life-giving water. Same thing in Puss Lynch. Very similar setup to Puss Lynch, actually, as far as terrain and stuff like this. This type of cedar, I think it's called a Eastern white cedar, if I'm not mistaken. You see these everywhere on springs.
Yeah, you do.
See them,
yeah.
Even down in the Niagara Glen, you see them popping out of the rock. These are a thirsty tree.
It's funny that, there's a sense of tranquility when you're near a spring.
Yeah, there's definitely something going on with the cedars. There's some sort of symbiotic relationship happening.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm starting to freeze.
Okay, let's cut it short.
We better cut it short. So basically that's it.